Hello, 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 and welcome back to the Without the Bank podcast. Thank you very much for being here. All right, you guys, if you have tuned in from the beginning, if you have read the book, if you have paid any attention to anything I have done, you know I love my blue collar workers along with my millennials. I absolutely love blue collar. They are just my people. My husband is a blue collar worker, and so farmers are basically blue collar, right? And they're just my people. I am not somebody that just is going to go do business on a golf course, even though I know there's a lot of blue collar workers that play golf nowadays. But, I prefer if you want to go do some business over something, well, maybe we should go, shoot some sporting clays or something. I love that kind of stuff. Anywho, so I want to talk to you today about the worth of blue collar workers, tradesmen. Okay. They're one and the same to me, but I have recently really been thinking about what the deal is, why they don't see their worth, how important are they, where did this all come from, all that good stuff. Ironically, I was going to record this podcast yesterday and I ran out of time. So this morning, I was listening to Mike Rowe's podcast, and he is interviewing a gentleman on there that wrote a book, and they were talking about when this blue collar stuff started. And I was like, this is unbelievable. Somebody is answering my question. So this Frederick Taylor, in 1911, he published a book called The Principles of Scientific Management Theory. Basically, what he said is if you aren't a manager and you are just somebody working in a factory, punching a clock, getting your hands dirty, you're blue collar and you're not worth as much as the managers. Okay. So I saw something that said blue collar is people that punch a clock. That is not how I view it. I view it as blue collar is the guy that is doing something with his hands, working, physically working. Because if it was somebody that punched a clock, then every employee would be blue collar because they're all punching clocks. That's not the case. Okay. Blue collar to me is I am out getting dirty, doing jobs that other people don't want to do, more of a tradesy job, truckers, those kinds of people. Okay. Electricians, plumbers, concrete workers, excavators, mechanics, those people. Now, here is what I'm seeing is that we have a self-worth issue in that area. We don't feel like we should be able to charge what a white collar guy can charge per hour. So let's just say we're talking about an attorney who charges $150+ an hour. We as a blue collar guy might come in and go, oh, we can't charge that because just about anybody could do this job. I'm just going to maybe pressure wash somebody's business, or I'm going to, build a building for the white collar guy. Okay, so no, not everybody can do that job. And this is something that I kind of thought this as well, because I grew up with blue collar people, right? My dad was a farmer. He was very mechanically inclined. They tractor pulled. Like he would just tear engines apart. He'd put them back together. He'd fix tires. Anything that was broke, he would fix it. Anything that needed to be built, he would build it. Like I just assumed everybody knew how to do that stuff. Until I started to meet people, specifically men, that didn't know how to change a tire, didn't know how to fix a tire, didn't know things about engines. And then I marry a blue collar worker, and he is an industrial maintenance mechanic. That's what my husband does. And until he came home and said, we try to hire people and they don't even know how to use a cordless screwdriver. They don't know how to change bearings in a motor. They may not know how to weld stainless. They may not know how to weld at all. They don't know the difference between a TIG weld and a stick weld. Okay? Like all that stuff. I was like, what do you mean? Like, what? because I grew up in it. Then I married somebody that's in it. I assumed everybody knew how to do those things, and they don't. Now, let's just use blue collar to blue collar. Again, my husband is an industrial mechanic. If I want something welded, if I want something built out of steel, if I need bearings in a motor changed, he can do it all. But if I want anything done with wood, if I need a door put in, if I need a room framed out, the man can't do it. He does not. Wood is not his. That is not what he likes to work with. He prefers to work with steel. And so I then have to hire somebody to do that. And guess what? I'm okay paying that person to do the construction of a remodel on a house because I know what they're worth. I know that they understand their gift and their trade because he understands it on the other side. And it goes both ways. Blue collar people are willing to pay blue collar workers what they're worth if they don't understand that particular trade because they know the job sucks. They know it's labor intensive. They know the knowledge behind it. But guess who doesn't know the knowledge behind it? The blue collar worker doing the job. If I'm going to pay an attorney $150 an hour to do something, why are you not worth $150 an hour? You might be cleaning windows. Okay, maybe that's not $150 an hour, but guess what? If the attorney needs his windows cleaned, he is not going to do that when he can be in court. He can be meeting with a client and making $150 an hour. Or say, you know what, this is a new client coming in and it's a $5,000 retainer. He's going to hire somebody to do that. And that somebody might be you. And you might come in and say, oh my gosh, you know what? I just don't have as much knowledge as this guy. I didn't go to college. I can't charge that. I'm going to let you in on a little secret. That attorney can't do his job without his computer. That computer is not going to run without electricity. He has no place to meet his clients if he doesn't have a building. That's most likely going to be a builder, a mason, a sheetrock guy, HVAC, welders, plumbers. Oh, then he's going to need a car to get there, so it's the mechanic. Then he's going to need a road to drive on. And that's the street workers, that's the excavators, and then he's going to need a sidewalk, and that's your concrete guys, right? And yeah, you have engineers that have to engineer all that stuff. So the engineer is the white collar guy, and he's creating the roads, and he's creating the architect is creating the business, right? Or the building, sorry. The architect is creating the building. But what good are all of those things if we don't have the blue collar guy to build it? We need each other. It's not just one side. It is not the white collar guys employing the blue collar guys. It's the blue collar guys allowing the white collar guys to have a business that operates, that they can get to. It is an equal distribution of value. I'm glad now I know that this Frederick dude created this mess, but the mess has to be unwound. And and this is something I see all the time. When I am working with clients and I have a blue collar business owner or just a blue collar worker in general, or somebody that wants to start a blue collar business and they think they have to give their services away for free because they don't see the worth of what's in their brain, right? It's like our boomers. They're elderly. And they feel like if they're not physically working, there's not value there. And that is not true. What value is in your brain? The accountant is not physically working. The attorney's not physically working. It's what's in their brain. The doctor is not getting paid because he is standing all day doing surgery. He's not getting paid because he's running from room to room in an ER. He's getting paid for his knowledge. And just because they went to school for that knowledge does not mean it is more valuable than your knowledge of somebody that can put two boards together and create from a piece of paper. Or some of you don't even need a piece of paper. You can build a building. You know exactly how to wire stuff. You know exactly how stuff works because it's just how your brain works, right? College does not define how much we can charge people. We are in a situation right now in this country where there are not enough tradesmen. And they don't know their worth when they're good. Some of our tradesmen should not be charging what they're charging because they suck at what they do. Others are good at it and should charge appropriately. And if you are running a business and you don't know how to charge accordingly, let me in. I'll let you in on some more information, okay? Number one, let's just use an electrician. Let's just use the construction world as an example. I had my roof cleaned off with snow. The young guy came and overcharged me. I paid it because why? I'm sitting behind my desk. I need it done. I'm not getting on that roof. There's 4 feet of snow. It would have taken us forever to do it. We needed it done. My husband's at work. I'm going to pay these 3 young people who have far more energy than me. I pay them, and what does he do? Just slides it off the roof. Does not look around the house to say, oh, geez, you know what? That's a lot of snow up against that window. Good thing the window did not break. Was he worth his value? No. In my opinion, no. He charged me a lot of money. He is not worth his value because he did not clean up after himself when he was done. He slid it off the house, and then it took us a whole nother day to move it, which I am totally okay with. But you could have broken a window. Okay? Yeah, no. I hire an electrician. The electrician comes. The electrician leaves. Guess what? Nothing on the floor. There is not small wires anywhere. They have vacuumed up after themselves. They have swept up after themselves. They have closed up all their holes. Everything is as if they were never there. Is that electrician worth more than the electrician that leaves a disaster? Yes, 100%. Will I call that guy again? Yes. Can he charge more? Yes. Because I now don't have to go clean up a job site. If you're working for a builder, you don't have to clean up a job site. If you are a tradesman and you show up the day you say you're going to show up, or you call to let people know you're not going to be there that day, are you worth more? Yes, you are. A lot of times in the trades, we don't get what we're paid for. We don't get our worth and pay because we don't follow through and clean stuff up, because so many contractors think, well, that's not my responsibility. I was here to do my job. I did my job. That's somebody else's business. Really? Really? I don't get paid to clean up. You don't? Put it in the flippin' bid and you'll get paid to clean up. It's really that simple, right? If you're going to charge per hour, then you charge the same amount per hour to clean up the mess that it took you to create the mess. Put it in the bid. I frankly don't care. But If we go above and beyond, are we worth more? Yes, absolutely. But don't go doing stuff for free. I had a friend post on Facebook the other day that she had a toilet installed and it was $150 and she thought that was expensive. I said, well, I think that's a steal. The guy had to drive out to your house, which took him a half an hour. Then he had to drive back into his house, which took him a half an hour. And then I don't know how long he was there to install the toilet. Did he take the other toilet out for you? Did he dispose of it for you? Or did he just set it on your front step? Because if he took it, then he had to actually take it to the dump as well, right? People, if your clients do not want to pay for your services, you say, thank you, you have a nice day. Because they don't understand what your worth is any more than you understand what your worth is. So I may have talked a little bit in circles here, but I want you to understand that you have value, and some doorknob called Frederick Taylor decided that no, managers are more important. And then we had people come along and create college, and then you have to go to college to do anything, which in fact, let's just look at attorneys because we're on the attorney standpoint. Do attorneys really need to go to college? I know people that have represented themselves because they've read law books, right? Or they've studied law. I mean, like if I want to graduate high school and I want to be an attorney, why could I not be trained by an attorney that has already been an attorney? Like, just like every other job that does not require college. If you're an electrician, you can go be an apprentice. You don't even have to go to college. You can be an apprentice and work in there and learn on the job. Why is that only applicable for certain jobs? Like, even at the doctor level, if you want to be a renowned surgeon, why would you not go study under a renowned surgeon? To get your basics of anatomy? All that stuff? Would we really need college? Or does it make it easier? I mean, by all means, if you want to go to college, that's fantastic. But as a business owner, what I have learned that from other business owners. I have learned that by studying outside of work because all I do is read and learn and listen to stuff. I have learned all of that on my own. What is college doing? Teaching us one way to think instead of teaching us different ways to think, studying under different people. Has it just created us to become lazy? Okay, you just go to college. This is what you get paid, yada, yada, yada. Unions. What have unions done? Have they also created us to be lazy and not outshine the next worker? Because think about why unions were started. Because we wanted, and I don't know this for a fact, but I'm just going to guess. Because we wanted to have equal pay. We wanted to get paid well. The only reason that we needed to fight to get paid well is because we didn't think we had value. If you have value, you shouldn't have to have a union. If you prove your worth, you shouldn't have to have a union. If we decide that, hey, we're worth X amount, then why not just go start your own business and go do your own thing and charge correctly? Because we're too scared. I mean, I'm just challenging your thought process here. And making you understand that you have value. Start treating yourself like such. Create your business and run your business like it's a business instead of just a place to go to work. Because a lot of blue-collar workers do what? Well, I got a power washing business, or I got a Christmas light business, or I'm an electrician, so I'm going to go do the work. Because you guys are hard workers. So you go do the work, but do you actually treat it like a business? Guys and gals, doesn't matter. I have blue collar workers that are owned, those businesses are owned by women. And those women just like to work. They just physically like to work. Guess what? It's a business. If you can't do the white collar side of that business, hire that person. And guess what? We have equal importance. But don't short suit yourself thinking, oh, well, I'm just the guy that's going to put in the outlets. I'm just the guy that's going to install the toilet. Both those things are pretty important. In fact, they're very important. I'm just the guy that's going to clean the snow off the road. I'm just the guy that's going to arrest the criminal. You guys, please, for the love of Pete, understand your value because it's important. Okay. I hope that was your little pep talk for the day. Because you are so important. I just cannot even, I have this same talk with my husband all the time. I'm like, you do understand, you could quit your job and you could consult and you could make $150 an hour. You get that, right? And he does not care because he does not like owning a business. He is not the business owner kind of guy, which is fine. That is not everybody. But there is still value there. And typically, if you are the guy punching a clock, typically management is not going to understand the value until you are gone. And then they're like, oh, those guys were worth so much more. Right? So understand it. Charge what you're worth if you have a business. If you are going to start a business, don't be scared to charge what you're worth, but make sure that you are outperforming everybody else in that industry. Customer service, cleanliness, on time, whatever it might be. Make sure that you are outperforming somebody so you can charge what you're worth and then not have to worry about it. Then you're going to have plenty of money to start your own bank, right? And then to start your own businesses, buy rental properties, do whatever it is that you want to do. Because you also need to be concerned about retirement. You physically cannot do your jobs forever. And they are typically very physical jobs. So we have to plan to sell the business. We have to plan for retirement. We have to plan for passive income. All of those things. Okay? So if you've not gotten the book, Life Without the Bank, go to withoutthebank.com, grab the book. If you have comments, questions, concerns, if I pissed you off today, feel free to email me, maryjo@withoutthebank.com. And I'm happy to read your comments. We're not all going to think the same. So if I made you mad, okay. But I love my blue collar workers and I don't think that you guys see your value. Start seeing your value. Have a fantastic day and we'll see you in the next podcast.